Hey folks, I'm Rob.
And I'm Nathan.
And you know, the Autoplex invited us to tour several garages to see the collections and meet the owners, allowing us to create a virtual car show for you.
Every month the Autoplex gives back to a different charity, and this month's charity recipient is Special Olympics of Minnesota.
Through Special Olympics, athletic, health, and leadership programs, people with intellectual disabilities transform themselves, their communities, and the world.
With your support, Special Olympics can transform lives through the joy of sport each and every day.
Every day they empower athletes to shatter stereotypes and exceed their personal best on the playing field and in life.
But for every inspiring Special Olympics athlete in Minnesota, there are 21 more people waiting for their chance, and so many more around the world.
So, make a difference in Minnesota. Click on the charity link in our description down below.
Also, give us a like and click on the subscribe button down below and ring that bell notification.
That's right. So, what do you say, Nate?
Let's go for a ride.
Hi folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys in a Ride, and today we're out here at the Chanhassen Autoplex, and we are here at Mitch's garage. And it's just so fun, Mitch, that, thank you for sharing this with us, first of all. But it's so fun because everyone puts their personality into the garage space, and we have yet again a completely different kind of garage. So, let's talk about how you got into cars. First of all, why you have this garage.
Okay.
So, you didn't start out in life collecting cars or being interested in cars. So tell us a little bit about it.
Okay. Well, when I was a kid, everybody wanted a muscle car.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the cars in the 50s, 55, Chevy, this was like a dream car. And then later on, the Corvette.
It still is a dream car.
So, but none of these were things that I could afford. I bought a car that was reliable because my sister had one that I had to push off to crank it for us to go to school. And I said, I am going to have a car that will crank. It may not look good, it may not be fast, but it's reliable. So I kind of stayed in that mode. And then I got my first new car at the end of college because I had been in a wreck. And I didn't have enough money to buy anything but a Volkswagen Super Beetle.
Okay.
And so I got married, had my kids fairly quickly, and then it was all about comfortable ride, value, reliability. And then I started, as my career was taking off more, I splurged. I got a Pontiac SSEI, which was a nice little car.
I remember those.
Yeah, and I got a Jeep Cherokee. So then in my job, I finally got pretty generous car allowance, and I decided, one time, I'm just going to buy a nice car. So I went from the Pontiac to BMW 7 Series.
Oh, that's a little step.
And it's like, ooh, now I understand why these people are why they like cars. Mm-hmm. And so the second one was a Jaguar XKR convertible, which was the supercharged one. The third one was the BMW 760 V12. The fourth was a Maserati, and the story just goes on and on. So every 3 years I got another car. Now they didn't pay for all of this.
Right.
They paid for about half of it, but I could buy it out then to 3 years. And I always had 6,000, 7,000 miles on it, so I said, I can't get rid of it. And then I moved from a house to a condo. And I had no place to park these cars. I had 2 parking spaces. I had 5 cars, and fortunately they weren't sold, but I knew I had to do something. And my wife was pushing me pretty hard. But then I bought her a special car. I bought her the launch edition of the Continental GT.
Oh, beautiful.
And she said, why don't you go buy one of those condos out there?
That worked out well.
So, and I put her in such a good mood. About 6 months later, she said, well, you've always wanted a Ferrari, why don't you get it? And then we're just off to the races. So then I kept getting the cars every 3 years, and then I kind of filled it up.
Because this isn't the only garage you have some other garages as well.
It was the only one I had for a while. I now live in Florida 7-8 months a year, and just in the last 2 years I built one there because I'm on the beach and there's
no space.
There's no space whatsoever. But this one is different because what I found, I wanted a place for my cars. And I love being in a condo because I don't like the exterior maintenance. But I miss my pool table, miss my ping pong table, Then I started thinking about my grandkids, and then I was tired of paying for a gym membership when I wasn't here that long. So I put this in, and next thing I knew, we were entertaining here. Then the other thing that happened, this is the big bonus, it was totally unanticipated. This became like a country club for car enthusiasts, but it's a low-key, you know, bunch of guys that there's something about car people, fun, friendly, and I just found people that have become great friends. I mostly worked and did stuff with my kids when I was still working. I didn't focus on social life. This started developing the social life that reminded me that when I was in college, I was a very social animal. And so this is kind of how it played out here. And then the car shows, at first, I didn't know how I felt about that. But what I really enjoyed is the families come through, the little kids. I had one kid from the time he was 12 would come in every month. We had our car show. He knew more about my cars than I did. He especially knew more about my Ferrari than I did. And so he came back every month for several years. And then finally one day I said, come back around 11. And I took him for a ride in the Ferrari.
All right, so let's just talk about what you have in here a little bit.
Okay.
So first of all, you've got some furniture. So you've got some really nice theater seating here.
So people say, why so many TVs? Well, I'm from the South originally, as you might detect, and SEC football is king. And so this is Mitch Stover in the fall watching multiple games at once, with the University of Georgia being the big one right there. So a lot of people say, yeah, we get the red walls. You know, I grew up at Target. It's Target red, but I was Bulldog red before I was Target red.
All right, so that was, that's nice. You also got a gaming system. You play a few games on TV?
This is primarily for grandkids, as actually I have 3 different ones in here, and I rarely play them. I couldn't even compete with them anymore. They're here for the grandkids.
That's awesome. You've also got a bar area right down here, because this is a show garage.
Yeah. Well, it's an entertaining garage.
Entertaining garage.
You notice disco balls, laser lights. That's my daughter's edition.
I love it. You also have something different here that we've not seen in any garage, is that all the garages have in-floor heating, but Mitch, you've actually got air conditioning that you just recently installed.
2 weeks ago.
So not only is your loft air conditioned, which we've seen before on the enclosed lofts, but your whole garage is air conditioned, and it really works well with dehumidifying the air as well.
Yes, great for cars, but also that gym does get used, and I've continued to use it every year. But when I come in here in August and it's 82 degrees, and I'm working out, it can get to be a little bit much.
Now you do have a few other cars in here.
Yeah.
So let's tell us about the red Camaro up here.
Okay, that is a 2012 Camaro ZL1. If you remember, that's when they brought it back, 580 horsepower supercharged. It is a beast, and in the old muscle car form, there's not all this technology that keeps the wheels from spinning and everything. It will really break loose. But the story behind that, when I met my wife in college, she had a 67 Camaro. And we had had a home in the panhandle of Florida since the 90s, and we had started leaving cars there. They came out with this, and she said, can we get us a beach Camaro? And when my wife says, can we get a car, I'm all over it. So she kept saying, why is it taking so long? Because it took 6 months. I said, well, I'm trying to get you one that's a little bit special. And so she saw it, she liked it, and she said, something tells me this has got a pretty big motor in it. So she took it out, she drove it. And my wife doesn't hot rod around, but she likes to merge onto the interstate fairly quickly. And when she stomped on this, it scared her to death. So here we are now, 8 years later, and it's got 6,500 miles on it. And one of the reasons I keep it, in the first year, these were fairly limited. They built around 1,700. And I do business with Haggerty's, with my T-Bird over here, and they give you updates on your cars. And they're saying this is destined to be a collector car because they only made about 1,700. But this is the muscle car, brute force feel.
Icon of an era.
Yep.
Now, right next to us, or right behind us, you have got a Sprinter.
Yes. This one was still on the assembly line, and I asked if they could get it to me in 2 weeks, and they said yes.
Wow, so this came off the assembly line.
Yes. And there were certain things I wanted. This has the lithium battery packs, so you don't have to hook up for power. You can run your air conditioner.
Everything right out there for
It's not too big. It's
what, 24 foot?
24 feet.
Okay, and it's got a diesel motor.
Yep.
And then you have the advanced electronic package on here, which adds some nice electronic features.
And it's got its own built-in Apple TV, its own internet service. So it's kind of a high-tech version.
Right.
So,
comfortable to stay in though when you
comfortable,
can't stay in a hotel.
Cozy. You know,
and easy to drive, you said.
Yes, very easy to drive. And also, in case I wanted to bring this home at Christmas, because we usually come home for Christmas, all-wheel drive.
Back here you have a beautiful, I believe, 1955 Ford T-Bird.
Yes.
So, tell us how you got this.
Well, I am probably, amongst my friends in Florida, one of the most enthusiastic car lovers, but I've got several that race or they have one or two cars, and I had never been to the Mecum auction in Kissimmee, so that was on my bucket list. So 4 of us went, and while I didn't have it in mind that I was going to buy a vehicle while I was there, there's always a risk. So I've been looking at a lot of the cars, and I saw this one, and this one was one of the Friday cars, because they start and they have more drivers, and they just start building up. And I saw this and said, oh, well, what the heck? So I started bidding, and then it got down to 3 or 4 of us, and we all had a price in mind, and I did one more bid and it stopped. And so Dana Mecum comes out and tries to make the deal happen, and I said, that's as high as I'm going, and he went back, and then they took the reserve off, and she came home with me.
Down here you do have a bathroom.
Yes.
And you do have a little bit of a storage room down here.
Washer, dryer. Hey, if my wife throws me in the briar patch, I can live here.
You can live. You can suffer gallantly. Well, let's take a look upstairs, because you've got an enclosed loft.
Okay.
One of the things I noticed right away, besides the massaging chair, is the slate flooring here. That's the first time I've seen slate flooring. It's just nice that you can customize it the way that you would like to.
Another one of my young up-and-coming Target executives from Columbia had left and gone in with this gentleman that was the general contractor.
Okay.
She was working for him on the decorating side, and so she worked with me on this, and then I stole her back from him, and she went back to Target. So right now you've caught me in between decorating. I just took out theater seats, and my wife, who always said, this is your garage, do your thing, she's kind of talking about, do we make this like a regular living area?
Okay.
And maybe I do like a comfortable sleeper sofa.
Yeah.
Something like that. I used to use this as a meeting room for my staff when I was at Target. And one of the ways I encourage meeting discipline, as soon as we get through what we have to get through, we can go downstairs and play. It worked wonderfully.
I bet.
And in the summer, we did the same thing on my boat on Lake Minnetonka. So this got a lot of use. And also, when I retired, I'm a little bit of an art collector, and I spent a lot of time. I've spent over a year cumulatively, probably in China and Vietnam, Indonesia, a lot of other places. This is a Vietnamese artist, and
it's a huge paint.
Yeah,
Wow.
I have another really big one from a well-known Vietnamese artist, that a young lady that is almost like a daughter to me over there helped me find, and then she took me to where the up-and-coming artists start and where this artist started. And that's where I found this painting. That's also from Vietnam. And I have one other piece downstairs that's made from hand-carved jade. But these were in my office at Target.
Okay.
And my house was full, and I had no other place to put it. My wife said, "What are you going to do with it?" I said, "Go into my garage."
Now over here you do have a 3/4 bath.
Yes.
So you actually have a shower in this one.
As I said, I use that gym, and I need it. Sometimes I'm leaving straight from here to go somewhere else, and I've got a washer dryer downstairs, so I keep some changes of clothes, and got a decent little kitchen.
You've got almost a full kitchen. You got a nice freezer and fridge, and a microwave, and then like a pizza oven, and then of course plenty of cabinet space, which is nice. Now we had mentioned earlier during our conversation about this robotic ping pong table.
Yes.
And I hadn't realized when I first looked at this that I just thought it was a regular ping pong table with a net catcher at the end, but it's not. It actually will, well, you tell us.
Well, it will do everything. You can do top spin, back spin, side spin, vary the speed.
Now, out here you do have a balcony, right?
Yes, and I use that primarily to look out and see if there's anybody out there that I can socialize with.
Right.
Or during the car show.
During the car show is a nice place to step out. Well, Mitch, what's you've already alluded to it earlier, but if you had to name a favorite thing that you have about this garage, it can be just coming here, it could be the experience of the community, it could be whatever. What would be one of your favorite things about owning this garage?
I think it's a big part of my social life now. Life is about transitions, and this becomes, I think, an even more important piece for me now. And the fact that we're in condos here and in Florida. I don't want the yard maintenance anymore, but I want the play space.
There you go. Mitch, thank you so much for taking your time to share with your beautiful garage and your loft areas and your cars.
Thank you.